Hello and welcome to Odds on Serie A match day 21 after the Super Cup for Milan. We are back with a very interesting weekend. We have Juve Milan, Atalanta, Napoli. It's a very good weekend, Leo Bachanian.
Hello, Edu. Yes, absolutely. We're going to have to see if we just only seen a little dip of form in Atalanta or if there is something bigger. But Napoli, absolutely spot on, Edu.
Yeah, 3 consecutive draws for Atalanta, and they have a good bull this Saturday. Napoli is almost partita scudetto, but we have Inter, of course, in between. So, guys, stay with us. Let's analyze everything that happens in Italy. Leave your comments, your like. Let's go on now with the show. And it's pretty unusual to see Roma playing on a Friday evening at home at the Olimpico against Genoa. They couldn't win in Bologna, still winless away from home, but at least they didn't lose. A positive draw, I would say, because the equalizer came at the end of the game at the Olimpico. Leo is 5 consecutive wins in all competitions. It shouldn't be easy against Genoa. We have 1.6 odds for Roma to win, because this Genoa with Vieira, they are so competitive. Leo, it was a crucial win, 1-0 against Parma last weekend.
Yes, absolutely. And look, they're going to have in front a team that lost just once under Patrick Vieira, and that was against Napoli. Last weekend, I absolutely agree with you. Massive 3 points for them with the 1-0 against Parma. It was the 5th clean sheet in 8 matches under Patrick Vieira. Roma at home have scored 20 goals in 10 matches, which is like 2 a game. But Genoa have conceded only 11 goals away this season, and only 1 goal away conceded since Patrick Vieira arrived. And for Roma, yes, the story for them keeps repeating itself, like they cannot win away from home, but they were still much better, for example, than they've been against Como, for instance, although they couldn't replicate that very good form they showed against Lazio in the Derby della Capitale. They have chances with 𝗀𝗵𝗍𝗀 and Paredes in the first half. They opened the scoreline with 𝐿 in the second half. So I think the biggest regret for them is that 6 minutes after scoring, they were already losing against Bologna. But after that, they pushed a lot. So they show personality, and they managed to score or to equalize with 𝗀𝗵𝗍𝗀 in the 98th minute of the match. And to be honest, overall, at the end of the day, I agree as well with you that it wasn't a disappointing draw. Bologna is a better team now. Roma is still in an upward recovery from the Zurich days. The football is better. The belief is better. But this matchday 21 with Genoa could be a tricky one as well, because Roma will be more expansive. They will attack a little bit more. They will be more direct, as they like when they play at home at the Olimpico. And as I said, they're going to have in front a Genoa team that knows how to defend. Look, the double chance for Genoa is 2.4, which is attractive for a team that won in Udine or went to San Siro and took a 0-0 not long ago. But my route will go for the goals market, goals under 2.5, 1.95.
Next game, Leo, Bologna, Monza. Bologna dropping points or drawing with Roma after the defeat at home against Verona. And Monza finally got a win, some hope for them. They beat Fiorentina, still 6 points away from salvation, but it was a massive surprise, Monza beating Fiorentina.
Yes, absolutely. And to be honest, they won it fairly. They had a good game, despite Fiorentina not being in a very good form. Now with Bologna, it's going to be or should be a different matter. For Bologna, the 2-2 with Roma was the first game in 2025. They are 7th with 29 points, but 2 games in hand, so which could leave them in a very expectant position in terms of Champions League qualification. I think Bologna thought they had done enough to secure the 3 points against Roma, but there is something this season which repeats a lot with Bologna. They keep throwing away games in the last minutes of the matches. With Roma on Sunday, I said 𝐻𝐵𝐿 scored in the 98th minute. At home with Verona, they lost it in the 88th minute in the last game of 2024. Against Atalanta at the Renato Dallara, they were winning, and Atalanta scored the 1-1 in the 90th minute of the match. In Turin, Juventus rescued a point against Bologna in the 92nd minute of the match. As well, Genoa took a point against them in the 85th minute of the match. In Champions League, it happened as well. Monaco scoring in the 87th minute of the game to win in Bologna. So not very difficult to understand why Vincenzo Italiano was so frustrated. But now, on the other side, there's going to be this Monza side who finally won, as you said, that the home game against Fiorentina, the first one of the season with the 2-1, fair winners. Daniele Maldini finally scoring after 4 months and has now 2 goals this season. This win is far from taking them out of the relegation zone, but it was very, very crucial. Away from home, 1 win out of 9 for Monza, but they have drawn 4, which is not too bad. Anyway, Bologna, as I said, they should still prevail in this one. For me, is Bologna to win 1.65.
Of course, they should win ahead of the Champions League, by the way. Next week, we are back with the Champions League. Juve and Milan are both in the Champions League. Juventus keep drawing and drawing and drawing. Is so unusual. Leo, 7 wins, 13 draws, no defeats. For Juventus, you were spot on. They drew in the derby, even against Torino, and they got a draw in midweek against Atalanta. I would say this one was positive in Bergamo. So winless in 4 since the win in Monza, and Milan also played a midweek game in Como, and they won. They suffered, but they won. Positive, of course, result after dropping points, surprisingly, again, against Cagliari at home. This inconsistency of Milan is a nightmare also for bettors.
Yes, they cannot escape the consistency of Fonseca, and now it's translating to 𝐬𝐭𝐭𝐿. And what's happening with Juventus, 13 draws all season, is getting, to be honest, a bit ridiculous. I mean, they're undefeated, all they want, but Juventus cannot escape the fact that Verona won just 1 match less than them this area, as much as Verona is fighting for relegation. Then the performance last night against Atalanta, I wouldn't say was bad. I mean, 𝗀𝐼 was, the Atalanta's goalkeeper, was man of the match. I wouldn't go as far as Mota saying that it was a great performance. The effort is there, the intensity is there, but I think I cannot highlight that about Juventus. I mean, if I'm going to only highlight the intensity and the effort, what is left for the bottom teams in this Serie A, there are some moments, but they last very little. When you can see some glimpses of Mota's Bologna in a way, no players not being in the usual position, not giving reference to the opposition, but that lasts very, very little in games. And now comes the derby with Milan. They will see revenge after the Super Cup when they lost it after going ahead 1-0. Kolo Muani may play, as yesterday it was confirmed that he's arriving on loan from PSG. They have added as well Alberto Costa, a defender from Vitória Guimarães, 21 years old. And Milan and 𝐶𝐭𝐿 will hope that the hangover from the Super Cup is finally over. He said that after Cagliari on Matchday 20, that was the worst he has seen from any of his teams in 13 years of management. With Como was a little bit better. Was the third time in 4 games under 𝐶𝐭𝐿 that Milan won it from behind. Theo Hernandez surpassed Paolo Maldini as the defender with most goals in Serie A for Milan. They are on a run of 2 wins and 3 draws in the last 5. The reverse fixture in San Siro was 0-0, but I will expect both teams to score here, to be honest. Milan have scored in their 10th away game fixtures this season, although the last time they do not manage to score in a away game in Serie A. That was actually against Juventus in April 2024 when they drew 0-0. But my take here, both teams to score, yes, 1.95.
Okay, like in the Super Cup, although in the last 5, 6 Serie A games, both teams to score. No, in this head-to-head, actually, between these two games. Great game between the two European and Italian giants, Juventus and Milan. And later on, we have a partita Scudetto, almost Atalanta, Napoli. Of course, as I always say, Inter is the favorite to win the Scudetto. 4 points between these two teams, and it's good, the point you made at the beginning of the video about Atalanta's form. Is 3 consecutive draws, now 4 points away from Napoli, draws against Juve, midweek Udinese last weekend. And on the other hand, we have Napoli looking very solid at the moment with 5 consecutive wins.
Yes, absolutely. What Napoli is doing is amazing. They needed to do the job against Verona before entering that run of toughest games starting on Saturday with Atalanta, something we spoke last show. And they done it exactly that, 3rd consecutive win, 2-0. For them, this opportunity 2-0 against Verona, an own goal from Verona, and then 𝐿𝐵𝐴 scoring 4th goal of this season for him in Serie A, the best goal scoring season of his career. Everything was made easier that they all spent the score just 5 minutes into the game. Lukaku and McTominay, they had chances to make it 2-0 in the first half. In the end, it arrived in the second one, and after they scored the second one, the game, we knew it was already done for Conte, although 𝐿𝐵𝐴 had to make some saves by the end of the game. The game was played in a little strange mood because journalists and everyone asking Conte before and after about 𝗵𝐵𝐴, who's apparently already leaving the club to join PSG. To lose the Georgian is massive for Napoli. It's true, he didn't reach the heights of 2 seasons ago when they won the Scudetto, but he's one of the most talented players in Serie A and, of course, in this Napoli squad. When I'm reading that Alejandro Garnacho could be the player that they turn into, I'm a bit surprised, to be honest. Not in a million years the Argentine has the talent of the Georgian. I think it's a great sign that this Conte team is really maturing into a Scudetto contender, that they keep being focused in the big picture. Atalanta, I repeat that, we will see if just a deep in form, or we are at the door of something bigger than that. With Udinese last weekend, with Inter in Saudi Arabia, with Lazio at the Olimpico, Atalanta best player on the pitch last night against Juventus was Marco Carnesecchi, the keeper. Retegui, in a positive side, returned with Juventus and scored after 7 Serie A match days. He has 13 goals this season. But for me, Edu, looking at the odds, double chance Napoli, 1.67. I will take it all day.
Indeed, really good odds to back Napoli, although this 𝗵𝐵𝐴 going out could be a deal breaker for the hopes of the Scudetto. Still narrow, 3.73. The bookies are giving Napoli to win the Scudetto, 6 Atalanta, and only 1.5, still good odds, I would say, for Inter. Games on Sunday, Fiorentina, Torino, really bad form for Fiorentina. Lost to Monza, as we said, surprisingly to Napoli's 5 winless games in Serie A. And Torino, 3 consecutive draws in mid-table. Life is always quiet for the Grana, Leo, no matter if it's 𝗀𝗏𝗏, if it's Vanoli, they are always in the middle of the table.
Yes, absolutely. They are there where we usually see Torino. They scored a massive point against Juventus, a massive for them, 1-1 in the derby. It was a tense match from the very beginning. After 2 minutes, we had like a clash between players. Even both managers were sent out. Vanja Milinkovic-Savic in the second half, the goalkeeper of Torino, was the man of the match, especially in the last 30 minutes when was all Juventus in attack. Torino trying to find the counter, which it never came, but they were, of course, okay and happy to take the point against their biggest rivals. There are so many teams together at the bottom half that Torino looks distant from the relegation battle, but there at the end of the day, maybe just 4 points above Cagliari with 22. Away from home, the Granata haven't lost in the last 3 matches, 1 win and 2 draws. Overall, they lost 1 of the last 6 with 4 draws. this Torino. And Fiorentina had one of the most disappointing nights of the season against Monza. They were poor and lose a team, as we said before, that haven't won at home before facing Fiorentina. It's 4 defeats in the last 5 in Serie A for them. But it has been so great, the run before this negative period, that they are still just 4 points behind the top 4. The last 2 home games ended in defeat with Udinese and Napoli. This should be, anyway, I think, a game for Fiorentina to recover the memory, Edu. The reverse fixture was a win for La Viola, and I will expect the same here. My take, Fiorentina to win, 1.75.
Let's see if Fiorentina are able to come back. They are close to lose their European spot, but still very close to the Champions League spot.
Yeah.
Only 4 points away from Lazio. Let's go to the relegation battle. Cagliari Lecce is the first game. It's so tight, the relegation battle, and all the teams are getting points. Actually, in Italy, completely different from other leagues. We have Cagliari in relegation spots right now, despite the draw in Milan and the win against Monza. But with Davide Nicola, we know that they are going to fight. And Lecce 2 points away after the key win in Empoli, Leo, and the draw with Genoa. Away from home is 2 wins this season. Cagliari are favorites, but these games for the 1x2 is very tough to predict.
Yes. I wouldn't be going X1, X2. I don't know, another 6-pointer for Cagliari, Edu. And I'm saying this, another one, because Lecce on Sunday will mark the 3rd of the last 5 matches for Cagliari that have been against relegation rivals. Venezia was a defeat, Monza was a win, and Lecce is 2 points above them and 5 positions above them in the table. So a win in Sardinia will see them overtaking Lecce for Cagliari. Matchday 20, massive effort in San Siro to make it 1-1. Earlier in the season, they took a point again in Turin with Fiorentina as well, Atalanta. With Fiorentina, Atalanta and Lazio, they only lost marginally for 1 goal. So it's difficult to understand how they are managed to compete against these teams, but we are still seeing them in the red zone. The night in San Siro was unforgettable for the keeper, which was a debutant, 23 years old, 𝐜𝐿𝐴 He was impressive, making several crucial saves to deny Milan. He denied, actually, a special one, a 1-1 against 𝗀𝗵ci𝘄. Mattia Felici in midfield was also very, very good in his 3rd start of the season so far. Sortea scored his 4th goal of the season and keeps enjoying the best season of his career. Lecce win away to Empoli was massive as well for them, which makes them 2 wins in the last 5. Nikola 𝗀𝗏𝗏, stellar match against Empoli, scoring a brace, 6 of the season, or 6 goals this season for him. Just 1 goal away from the 7th score last season for him, for 𝗀𝗏𝗏. Those 2 wins in the last 5 for Lecce have come away from home, Venezia and Empoli, which are the only wins away from home this season in 10 games with 7 defeats for Lecce. As I said, won't be going X1, X2. My take is goals over 2.5, odds of 2. I expect goals here.
And another relegation 6-pointer is Parma Venezia. Parma only 1 point away from the bottom 3 after the defeat against Genoa in the last home game. They beat Monza, and Venezia in relegation 5 points away from salvation, but they are alive. They are competitive, as we saw again against Inter or Napoli recently.
Yes, look, Edu, 2 things do not change. The first one is that Venezia is still in the relegation battle, 5 points from safety. And the second one is that they keep producing competitive games against Inter. And another defeat 1-0 against them, this time at home. It wasn't easy for Eusebio Di Francesco, the manager, because he had very limited squad for the game, with a lot of players injured. They had chances in the second half. Jan Sommer was required to make an impact, the Inter goalkeeper. But as much as they do well with Inter or top teams, like when they draw 2-2 with the Juventus away, It's crucial they do well against Parma. It's a must-win match, a direct rival, and the nerves are completely different, and they become a little bit more conservative that against a top team when there is nothing to lose for them. It is one win in the last 10 match days for them with 6 defeats. One of those, the reverse fixture with Parma, actually, when they lost 2-1. For Parma, this fixture is also crucial after losing a 6-pointer last weekend with Genoa, 4 defeats in the last 6 for them, and they have scored 2 goals in the last 4 matches only, and both in the win against Monza 2 weeks ago. We are not seeing, or we are far from seeing the Parma that we saw at the beginning of the season that was entertaining and expanding in the performances. And we are entering the time of the season where 3 points anyway is all that matter for these teams. My take here, Edu, both teams to score, yes, 1.62.
Next game, also important for the relegation and for Europe, is Verona Lazio. Verona only 1 point away from the bottom 3. Lost to Napoli, but they are in decent form, much better than 1 month away. At home this season, 3 wins. Lazio, on the other hand, in bad form. Leo, they dropped points against Como. They lost the derby. It's only 1 win in the last 5 games.
Yes, actually, it's not as pronounced the slowdown as with Fiorentina, but they have taken the foot from the gas, absolutely. As you said, 1 win in the last 5 for them with 2 defeats. For Lazio, their goal scoring form has receded a lot as well. They have scored 12 goals in the last 10 matches, whereas in the 10 matches before that, they scored 24, the exact double for Lazio. They drew this time against at home against the same team, and they managed to beat in the reverse fixture 5-1. This said against Como. Now with Verona, at least important players like Castellanos, Mattias Akanji, and Mario Gila are all back from suspension, and that should be a boost and enough to take all in their visit to Verona, which was powerless at the Diego Armando Maradona. No chances to do anything against Napoli, especially after Antonio Conte scored the second goal. They are very likely to finish Matchday 21 in relegation zone, despite their little resurgence with 2 wins in the last 5 matches. At home is 3 wins, but they have 6 defeats overall in that condition, and 3 in the last 4 at home has been defeats for them. At their turf, 33 goals have been scored, and only 11 of those have been scored by them. My take here, Edu, to make it easy, Lazio to win, 1.77.
Well, risky, risky with Lazio's current form. Next game is Inter-Empoli. Inter are also playing midweek games to try to catch Napoli on top of the table. They should be a no-brainer, Leo, with really low odds, only 1.2. Not only for Inter still to know their form in the new year after the defeat in the Super Cup, but also because Empoli are now in danger. They started the season amazingly, and now only 1 point in the last 5 games, very close to the relegation.
They started to play with fire, to be honest, Empoli at this moment. Another defeat. The gap, I'm checking, yes, the gap with the relegation zone after last weekend defeat has been reduced to just 2 points. 4 defeats in the last 5 for them, with 1 draw. Is a dangerous return for Empoli. The reverse fixture saw Inter winning 3-0. Nothing tells me that the outcome won't be similar again this time. And they are playing with fire because also the run of fixture does not look promising for Empoli. Inter now, then Bologna, Juventus, and Milan in succession, and Juventus again in Coppa Italia. So tough moments for them, and Inter will have tonight the chance to reduce the gap with Napoli to just 1 point when they face Bologna. Some troubles in midfield with Calhanoglu injured, with Mkhitaryan injured. Asllani at least did better against Venezia than he did against Milan in the Super Cup, but I believe Inzaghi would like to give some rest to 𝐿 Varela, but he cannot because of those injuries of Calhanoglu and Mkhitaryan. Let's make it easy here, Edu. For me, this, as you said, is a no-brainer. Inter Asian handicap minus 1.5, odds of 1.68.
And for Monday, we have 𝐿𝐵𝐼𝐻𝐻. 𝐿𝐵𝐼𝐻 also, of course, in the relegation battle, 1 point away from Cagliari. We saw a 𝐷𝗵𝗿𝗀, the new signing, scoring against Milan in the defeating midweek, but also competitive the whole season, to be honest, says Fabregas' men. Drew with Lazio, beat Lecce recently, and Udinese, it's another team of draws, Leo, and of mid-table, 3 consecutive draws against Atalanta, Verona, or Torino, for instance.
Yeah, and that's why those double chances for Udinese look good. I mean, the 1-1 for Como against Lazio at the 𝐵𝐼𝐻𝐻 is not bad per se, but the reality is that they play as well a little bit more than half an hour with 11 against 10, and they could not take the free point. They are just 1 point above Cagliari. And last night with Milan, they took the lead, as you said, with 𝐻𝗵𝗻𝗀 in the first half, his first start since his arrival from Betis. But then in 5 minutes, everything was blown away when Milan managed to make it to win it from behind. 𝐋𝐞𝐿 scoring the goal for Como, 6th of the season for him. That was against Lazio, and came close against scoring as well, despite last night at the end of the match against Milan. But Bachanian saved Milan. Look, I think Como is having better quality players than Verona, Cagliari, Parma, Venezia, Empoli, or Monza. But my feeling at the moment is that Cagliari is better equipped with a better know-how to survive than this Como. I'm not saying that Como is going to be relegated. Again, they have quality players and they are getting reinforcement, but they need to start as well winning games more often. 𝐻𝐿𝐵𝐼𝐻 lasted 25 minutes only with Lazio last Friday. He didn't play a single minute last night, although he made it to the bench, but it was clearly that he wasn't fit enough for Fabregas to throw him in the pitch when Milan was winning 2-1. So that's something important to see if 𝐻𝐿𝐵𝐼𝐻 is playing or not. 𝐶𝐶 Caqueret, the player that arrived from Lyon, made his debut in the second half. And Udinese, as you mentioned, another draw, but this time a positive one when we think it was Atalanta, and with a clean sheet. They're going to have Lorenzo Luca back from suspension in attack. So for me, again, I said, those double chances look good for Udinese. Udinese double chance, 1.80 is perfectly good for me.
All right, Leo, these are your tips. Remember, guys, that you can post your tips in our website and participate in the tipster competitions that we have going on and win some good money, or play in Rivals and create your own tipster league. Leo, let's finish the video. As always, safe bet.
Inter to win, 1.24.
ACCA?
ACCA double chance, Napoli, Lazio to win, Inter to win. All these three leaves me with an ACCA of 3.59, Edu.
Okay, Leo Bachanian, thank you. Thanks, everyone. Arrivederci.